time.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody's busy. It's never an excuse. You know, make time to see friends.
Hi, Carrie, and it is Edward Brown from the Best of Investing. George was supposed to be our guest today, and he hasn't called in. He was supposed to call about 15 minutes ago. We've got to start recording, so unfortunately, I'm going to have to unhook the phone, and we're going to have to make it another time. But my number is 415-299-0330. Thank you. Bye-bye. Yeah, I can't have a call while we're recording. Cool. There we go.
Ergo.
Ergo.
Is that term?
Ergo.
What you got there? Coming soon.
I know, I'm
A
just,
spike in demand for you. I love that. That's such a great topic because I've got some stuff that is just kind of cool to.
just reading it for the first time, so I'm kind of focused on this again.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and read it.
Sorry, Kramer's also hoping this guy would give us all kinds of.
Oh, I get paid by the hour, I don't care. Want me to go call you on my cell phone?
Sure.
I want free airfare to Cabo. I just want
Yeah.
I can go there for a 4-day weekend and just
Yeah,
chill.
that'll work.
Leave right after the radio show.
Yeah.
Go to Cabo.
Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me. Actually, you and I had a good time in Cabo.
Sure, Cabo's great. Hanging out at the office.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Hanging out at
That's
the
my
office.
favorite name of the restaurant.
I know.
Best named restaurant anywhere.
That's right, because we're going to the office.
At the office.
All right, everyone got some good stuff?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Who wants to start us off when we,
I'm fine starting off if you want
There
to.
you go.
okay.
I've got. Yeah, we'll just bounce shit around. Just feel free to we'll just banter.
Banter.
Do what we do.
Okay, here we go. Welcome, you're listening to The Best of Investing on Talk 910. I'm your host, Edward Brown, and I'm proud to have as my co-host Mark Hahn of Pacific Private Money, one of California's fastest growing mortgage investment firms, and Patti Cohn of Pacific Union Realty. Our phone number is 888-912-1190. Now you're going to use that number to answer the trivia questions for 3 vacations given away during this show. Now, the vacations are not sponsored by the radio station, but by Lighthouse Resort and Marina, located 1 hour northeast of San Francisco. The vacations are free. Their only request, a $75 cleaning fee to cover the housekeeping expenses. Today's trivia theme is miscellaneous trivia. I got to keep you guys in suspenders. Our website is bestofinvesting.com. Check us out on television, Comcast Channel 26 and AT&T 99, Saturdays at noon, Sundays at 6 p.m. Give one more shout out here to our friends at Bangkok Thai in San Rafael, voted best 100 Thai restaurants in the U.S. Very good Thai food. They're right here downtown San Rafael, and during the farmers market, on Thursdays, they have a little booth. Visit Mally or Ben and tell them Edward sent you. They'll treat you right down here in downtown San Rafael. Let's see, Mark, what do you got for us today?
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're driving around safely with your air conditioning blazing as we day 4 or 5 of this great late summer heat wave here. And I came across some interesting articles over the week as I'm going through my usual real estate related blog posts. And with how real estate has just been on fire for it seems so many years now, it's a lot of it does feel like 2005 all over again, and many of us in the real estate business hopefully are not forgetting what it was like during the crash years of 2008, 2009. But interestingly enough, I was looking at an article that came out this week about the national foreclosure inventory, and it's down, as you might guess. I mean, we've talked about in years past, maybe there's like a shadow inventory. We may actually see more foreclosures, and that never really happened after the big foreclosure wave of like 2009, 2010. We never really had that second or third wave ever come back, and in fact, foreclosure activity now pretty much mirrors normal activity for a normal real estate market. But I thought this was interesting. There were a couple of things in here that I thought were worth mentioning. One that, foreclosure inventory is down 28%, and actual completed foreclosures so the 28% is the foreclosure inventory. So that's what the banks are holding. So that's down 28%. And then actual foreclosures that are being completed in real time right now by the banks is down year over year 25%. And what's interesting about it is the number of foreclosures in July of 2015. This past July was 38,000 compared to nearly 120,000 foreclosures, which was the peak in September 2010. And since the financial crisis began, they say here in this article in September of 2008, there have been approximately 6 million homes that were foreclosed throughout the country. So it's just interesting that those statistics. I mean, those are real statistics, and it's not completely. Foreclosures are not like over. There's still foreclosures happening. We still get calls at Pacific Private Money all the time for people who the reason why they need a loan is because they had a fairly recent foreclosure. And
In the Bay Area, though, it's pretty much over. Not
yeah,
much.
in the Bay Area, and well, in California, this report about the foreclosure inventory was really a nationwide report.
Right.
I was actually looking for California statistics, and they were so low as to be almost negligible. So you're absolutely right about that. But that leads me to another article that may portend a slight increase or bump again in future foreclosures, and that the title of the article is "More than half of the current HELOCs are facing payment shocks over the next 2 years." Now the reason for that is there was a slew. I don't know how many a slew is. There was a slew of HELOCs originated from 2005 to 2007. In fact, the amount of HELOCs originated between 2005 and 2007 make up more than 54% of all the current HELOCs that still exist.
I'm in one of those.
And it turns out 600,000 of them over the next 6 months are going to term out of their 10-year.
There it is. I'm exactly right there.
Uh-huh.
Not all of those people are going to be able to afford that new payment. What happens on a term out of 10 years is that, well, A, they can call the note, but B, oftentimes there's a provision in there where the payments revert to a rather fast amortizing loan payment. So you go from interest only to suddenly maybe a 5-year amortization. And if you've got a couple $100,000 owed, that could be a massive sticker shock. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out, and whether or not maybe the banks come up with some loan programs for people like that. What if they're underwater? What happens then? As you've pointed out, Edward, on many shows over the last several years, is there's still a lot of people underwater that have just continued to make their loan payments, and many of them do have a first and a second, and
they don't want to lose their house.
Yeah, right.
Right.
And so what if they're still potentially owing more than the house is worth, or there's not enough equity in there for them to actually sell and have enough money to buy the next house? So I would imagine that we're going to see maybe a little blip as a result of these terming out HELOCs. So stay tuned.
So yeah, I think that's more prevalent in like the sand states like California and Arizona, and yet in the Bay Area, we're seeing very, very few. I do know actually some people as well that are still in their houses. They owe more than it's worth. But here's a CoreLogic fact that came out recently, and we all know this, and we wonder, are we there yet? The peak, we've just, as a Bay Area, passed the peak in all of the 9 counties. As of July, meaning the Bay Area, all 9 counties, a median price of $665, and in July of 2007, 8 years later, the peak was $661.
Oh, okay.
So most people, people shouldn't be underwater, and if they're having trouble when that HELOC does come along, they can sell. And I mean, a lot of people don't want to sell, and that's the last thing they want to do. And I'm sure now they're like Mark said, there'll be some program out there that'll help them, because once again, the other thing that we have in the Bay Area is the strongest job market in the country, and all we talk about is low inventory. We've, like CoreLogic came out, yes, low inventory again. In August, in all of the 9 Bay Area counties, our inventory was lower this year than it was last year, and all we could talk about last year is how there is no inventory. And so for 40,
it hasn't gotten better.
yeah, for 40 straight months now, the Bay Area has had rising prices. So that's like 3.5 years. So, and that being said, being in the fishbowl, in the trenches, I can already see things really changing. And, I don't think, with interest rates with what they are, with the strongest, job market in the world, we're not hitting the wall, but things are definitely changing.
Well, and Patty, you mentioned that, what was it, 40 months of price appreciation?
Mm-hmm.
And I've got every month this year of the Case-Shiller report going back to December, and I just went and reviewed that again earlier this week for a client. And every month, including the most recent release, which was for July, was between 9.4 and 9.8% year-over-year Bay Area appreciation. So basically for the better part of the last year, we've been essentially at or near roughly a 10% year-over-year price appreciation, and the July numbers came in at 9.4% year-over-year price appreciation. So I keep waiting for that slowdown in price appreciation, because the Case-Shiller and other indexes, they track that. What's the year-over-year? And you're looking for a trend, either upward or downward or flat. Well, it's been a flat trend, but it's been a flat trend at 10%. Which I still think long term is not a sustainable. That scares me.
Right. Well, it already feels like it's changing. Being on the front of it, where you can see how people are behaving, how buyers are viewing houses, how inventory is getting absorbed. Yes, we have low inventory, we have low interest rates, but inventory is just not getting absorbed the way it was. So, and again, it's a tough time of year. We're coming off of Labor Day.
Yeah.
We have our second selling season starting this weekend, and it should go for 30 to 45 days. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Well, I remember last year, didn't the Thanksgiving slowdown or break, the so-called holiday break, that my recollection is that really never materialized, because what inventory was out there, it almost didn't matter when you put it on the market. You were getting multiple offers, and you could close fairly quickly. There was really no, well, it's the holidays, we gotta wait till January.
I wonder what happens when the trend shakes out a little bit, slows down, and suddenly the pendulum will swing, where it'll be like, gosh, you know what, things are not moving so quickly, and then everybody starts to realize things are not moving quickly. And
Right. When does the pendulum swing from what's clearly been a seller's market now for I don't know how many
3 years, 3 years.
To a buyer's market? That's pretty interesting. What combination of events will cause that pendulum to swing?
And it's all supply and demand.
Yeah,
And I've tracked it, year after year, every single month, and they just follow the curve.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bad time to sell in the holidays, but there's less sellers and less buyers.
Yeah.
So it all works the same.
Very good. Okay, hey, we're going to cut to our first commercial break here, and the theme is miscellaneous trivia. What is the medical name for the voice box? The first caller with the correct answer is going to win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Call 888-912-1190 to answer this question. What is the medical name for the voice box? All right, stay with us. You're listening to The Best of Investing with Edward Brown, Mark Hahn, and Patty Cohen. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back with the answer.
I like the part of the body, the voice box, is the larynx. Yeah.
Very good.
I was thinking of a machine.
Yep, that's it, Ed.
That's it.
Careful talking too soon after.
I was going to say,
because they need a little bit of a blank
Oh,
space.
I didn't realize how thick that was.
That's why when I do it, I go, like that thing.
Gotcha.
So we have to do is like 5 seconds before and after
Okay.
for that. But don't worry about it. They'll cut that out.
So you make up these questions? You got some hard ones.
These ones I got off the cruise ship. I go, send me a list of the questions. Those are kind of different.
So what do you got? What else is there? What's the coming
Spike in
soon?
demand,
Okay.
which is interesting too, because even if we have the continued low inventory, even if we have more inventory,
Mhm.
the spike in demand they're talking about
Where's it coming
in
from?
9 years by
Oh, in
2000 and this is in the U.S. But by 2024, that's 9 years from now,
Yeah.
there'll be 16 million more buyers than there normally would be. A third of them being Hispanics,
Yeah.
and then baby boomers and millennials.
Well, it just intellectually, when you think about it, the population is growing. We
Mhm.
continue to grow. People are coming in. We're net positive in integration.
Yeah.
Those people
And-
need to live somewhere. They need to live in the homes, and you're either building apartments or you're
Yeah.
building cages or someplace.
Well, and it's also the millennials who
Yeah. They'll finally-
wait till later to actually get it together. And it's also all of the people that were in trouble and now they're flex their muscle, they got
Yeah.
their jobs back, they're, and that's part of the other thing I'm looking
We'll find
at,
out where
which
she
is
was,
the
where he
jobs.
was. Got email saying from Carrie Ann, who was, I guess, his
My mom died? No. My dog died.
No, it's she said it was on his calendar and she had it on there for weeks. She sent him 2 emails and saw the hi, Carrie Ann. Hi, Edward. How are ya? Wow. Okay, because we recorded our first segment, and so I took a little break, and I figured I'd give you a call. So is he still completely unavailable? Okay.
Have you ever advertised in our magazine? I love looking through there and I'm seeing everybody's like shiny faces on
Yeah.
there. There's a number of people who.
Okay.
I haven't like.
Okay. Well, let's just shoot for another time. I got to go back to finishing up our recording, so
people.
maybe we'll try to do this in a couple weeks. Yeah.
And there's a lot of number ones. So I'm wondering
I know.
how they all like how those are measured.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's,
Number one.
I understand.
it's such a.
Okay.
And,
Let's see.
and it's not to sell the house.
I got to go back to
It's
recording, so let's try to hook up
Yeah.
sometime next week and figure out. We'll get it on a calendar again. Okay. Thank you. All right, Terry.
Okay.
Okay. Bye bye. It's funny. Remember I was mentioning George Blackburn?
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, how do you read that? And they even said here, oops, we goofed. Corrected. It says the appraisal just came back and we're buying the property for $1.4 million, which is $100,000 less the appraised value.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Because he said we're buying for $1.4 million less than the appraised value. I go, you're buying for $1.4 million.
If someone called me up and said, I'm buying this property for $1.4 million, the $1.3 million, the appraisal's $1.4 million, will you make me a loan based on $1.4 million? I'd say no. It's the appraiser doesn't know what. Appraiser is just trying to do an estimate of value, but that's nothing to do with the fair market. The fair market value is what you got that seller
Right.
convinced to sell it to you for.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
That
And
$100,000 is a
he's
meaningless,
charging it.
useless. That's an imaginary
Appraisers,
number.
yeah, they don't see the inventory. They usually call us.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. And he's charged. Yeah, your opinion's worth more.
Yeah.
The guy he's putting a syndication together, and he's charging like 8% to put it together. So right away, you got to make at least 11. What is that? Almost 9% on your money just to break even first, because they're taking syndication fees.
I got
So the email questions we have, Mark, I've heard you say on previous shows that your interest as a manager is aligned with your fund. How is that?
Okay.
And then Patty, what is the disadvantage of FSBO?
Oh, good.
Okay. Ready?
Are we doing that next, or do you want to do another segment?
Oh, we'll do another segment since you guys are on a roll.
Okay, good. You want to start off with your?
I don't have that much more really, but sure, absolutely.
Well, we talked a little bit about.
Let me just read this quickly. I got you, okay. Continue to face the risk. Sure.
Well, I like the spike in demand. I think that's where.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna
getting
tie it in with this.
at. Okay, good.
Okay, ready? Here we go.
Yeah.
Give me answer the trivia question.
Oh, okay.
I got a little special trivia one here, and then we'll go. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Mark Hunt and Patty Cohen. When we get to the first commercial break, we ask this very intelligent medical question. What is the medical name for the voice box? Patty, you knew the answer to that.
The larynx.
The larynx, that's right.
I thought it was vocal cords.
But that's not the medical. That's
Those are
what's
the
the medical
strings.
name for the voice box.
All right, fine.
Okay, so now I got to tell you, next week we're going to have another special trivia contest where the winner is going to receive an overnight stay at the Auberge on the Vineyard, located in Cloverdale, California. Situated on the confluence of 3 of California's greatest wine-growing regions, Auberge on the Vineyard is the perfect starting point to discover the charms of Sonoma and Mendocino counties. Check them out at, this is a long one, so get this, www.sonomabedbreakfastinwinecountry.com.
That's
a long one. Or you can call them at 707-894-5956. It looks like a very relaxing bed and breakfast. I love those bed and breakfasts to enjoy the wine country. So now, here is the trivia question to answer, and then I'll give you the rules. Only 1 in 25 people use their cell phone here. Where? Now, here are the rules. You need to email edward@bestofinvesting.com the answer. Next week, we'll collect all the correct answers and announce trivia winner next week. And part of the rules cannot have been a previous winner on the show. We always want to get new winners, okay? Patti, why don't you continue on? You had some good stuff to finish up with.
Well, yeah, I mean, just if you think about the big question always in investing is where are we going? So one of the things to look at is we talked about inventory, we talked about where are the prices, and that's where we are now, but where are we going? So if you look at, this is a core logic study that said nationwide we're going to be adding 16 million additional households formed by 2024 in 9 years. 1/3, and where are they coming from? Who are these people? Well, they're getting back, some of the people getting back into the game are the people that couldn't buy before or lost their houses before or whatever.
Okay.
Almost 1/3 of them are Hispanics. So now they're getting into the game more, and also millennials and baby boomers. And the baby boomers are making significant shifts in, going to one-story houses or moving down, buying a second home. And the millennials have just delayed what baby boomers used to do in their mid-20s. They're now doing in their 30s and later. So in the next 9 years, we're going to have a lot more demand. And, so if we, talking about supply and demand, and when will a glut happen in real estate, and are things going to be changing? So even if we do have that much more inventory, it's going to be absorbed, apparently, with this new study of 16 million more additional households. And then again, what about the job growth? Can they afford it? Another, this is out of a Stanford study, Palo Alto-based Center for Continuing Study of the California Economy says that the Bay Area employment is 10% higher than pre-recession levels. So what that really means is that middle and high wage jobs are now fully benefiting from the economy.
Well, and we know that the United States and California in particular, we're still every year having a net increase in immigration. So when you add normal natural immigration, you add millennials who are now going to be moving out of mom and dad's houses as they get older, they're finally going to want to join the ranks. People who were homeowners and then were converted into renters during the financial crisis, and all the people who lost, the 6 million people who lost their home to foreclosure. So you've got all these people that are now looking to re-enter the job market because unemployment's low, they're making money, we can afford it, the mortgage rates are still low, but where are the houses? And we've got house price appreciation that is kind of pushing the ability for people to afford those homes, even those that are making money. So usually when you have this dichotomy between demand and supply, normally that means, well, why aren't the builders rushing out to build homes? And that's the thing that just
permit process.
That's the thing that I don't quite understand, especially in California. Why isn't every other meadow you drive by on 101, 280, 580? Why aren't there homes under construction?
Because there's too much political.
Oh yeah, there's so much growth.
I mean, look at just Marin.
Marin, we're just like we're the most anti-growth.
Yeah,
county
exactly. Trying to get stuff
Yeah.
approved is just ridiculous.
Right, and that's good. I think that's why we're such a desirable place to live. And at the same time, there's still a lot of growth, a lot of shadow inventory, a lot of foreign companies, foreign investors, and national banks and holding companies with a lot of inventory that are going to be gently, strategically unloading them in the next few years. So I think it's all.
Did they already start that?
They did, but I mean, there's still so much more. Berkshire Hathaway has a lot of stuff. I mean, so I think that, it's good that more people are getting back into the game. And also when we talk additional households, a lot of people combined households, like parents living with kids and vice versa. So, and immigration, as Mark says. So I think that.
It's time to kick your parents out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people struggling. So, yeah, I think hopefully it's all guided and unfold in the way it's supposed to, that we won't have a big hiccup. But it seems to, with jobs, with new households, with the inventory that's coming out, it all seems to be working.
Well, and I still say I'm just surprised that there isn't more new home construction. I mean, I know there's, if you drive around the Bay Area, there's still quite a few projects that stalled or stopped where they actually built the streets and infrastructure. And I keep wondering why, why haven't there a lot of those
the numbers just don't pencil sometimes. I mean, just the cost of the permit sometimes of a house. For a while, there was like $70,000, no matter, even if you had a little house.
Yeah.
And just for a builder, it just doesn't pencil out because you don't get any value out of that.
Well, and also in the really high-end communities like Palo Alto and many in Marin and the East Bay, every builder I know said, I'm out of the game. What I have to purchase this lot for is ridiculous, because they're also competing with retail buyers that just want their nice dream house, and they'll remodel it, fix it up, and land is at a premium.
Good point.
Yeah.
Tell you what, Patti, just shoot right in here. We've got an email for you here. And this is kind of tough because this person's being very vulnerable and asking a realtor, but what is the disadvantage of a FSBO?
Well, no, it's a really, really good question. And I think first off is, who wouldn't want to save 6% on a $1 million house? That's
Maybe first
$60,000.
define for listeners, what is a FSBO?
Oh, a FSBO is a for sale by owner. And for goodness sake, who wouldn't want to be one, really? Who wouldn't want to save $30,000, $40,000, $70,000 on the sale of their house and give it to a realtor? And really good realtors look like they're not doing anything because they make it look easy. So,
Really? Yeah, I mean, realtors don't just kind of like sit there watching TV at an open house and then suddenly, boom, do a little paperwork and there you go?
Yeah. Well, I have had to say, I've said to people when they said, well, it only took a week, and I said, well, I could make it, and it's 6%. I said, well, I could make it 5%. I mean, I could make it 5%. We could take 6 months if you'd like, And it really didn't take a week. It took 28 years, and that's, like a doctor that gets in there and gets out. They're doing it because they make it look easy.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. So back to, again, why wouldn't you want to be a for sale by owner and save, let's call it $60,000? Well, first off, if it were that easy, more people would do it.
Sure.
Right? So, of those that actually succeed, and there aren't many that even try, chances are they're going to be paying the buyer's agent 3% or 2.5%.
Yeah, it's very rare for there not to be at least one agent involved.
Yes. And then they are going to be paying a trained professional to negotiate against them. And, right. And the buyers that just come along that think they're going to buy it from the for sale by owner, they're taking 6% off the price.
Exactly.
And then they're going to assume the person's desperate. And so that's kind of set. And they're going direct. Now, a buyer's agent is free to the buyer. So they're going direct to the for sale by owner because they have some other problem, like they can't get a loan. And they're looking for some, quote, deal. There are no deals. The for sale by owner thinks they're going to get over what a realtor can and save the commission. So so let's just say real buyers are working in cars with real agents. So you finally get a buyer, and they're going to have an agent. They probably will. And so you're going to hire a trained professional to negotiate against you, and you've got legal liability. So you're really not saving anything.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a very good point about the liability, because there may be disclosure issues that a seller doesn't even really think about, but the realtor would, a trained realtor such as yourself, would be able to point it out.
Yeah, so they don't even know what they're doing. They're going blind. And there are realtors, quite frankly, that don't even want to deal with them, and people think, well, that's not right. They're trying to have a cartel or something. Well, we just don't want to have the exposure because they don't always know what they're doing.
Well, also there's the emotion too. It's
Yes.
like, yes, I'm licensed to go ahead and sell my own house, but you know what? When it's your own house, you just don't want to deal. Someone says, hey, hate those curtains or hate this, and it's like you don't even want to be there. You just let have an in-between person such as the realtor.
Exactly.
So that's the real fallacy, is that that someone who's thinking about for sale by owner, really they're not going to make more money
They're probably going to end up listing it with an agent, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And not to mention all the work and the hassle and what they think they need to do. They think it's all about having Sunday open houses, so they do that every Sunday.
I heard a statistic that only 5% of houses actually sell on the open Sundays. It's usually the brokers opens on Thursday because you've got so many brokers who, are working on it.
Yes.
That's not true.
Yeah.
Okay.
And really, I think it's about 94% of properties trade on MLS. And it doesn't mean that the other 6% are for sale by owner. It just means that brokers are making deals offline.
Yeah.
Sellers want that sometimes for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, and then not to mention, maybe the for sale by owner is going to do it, but have they priced it correctly? Have they left money on the table? Have they gone too high? It's not worth it.
How often have you picked up a client who was a for sale by owner who's finally said, you know what, I don't know what I'm doing.
I give up.
Yeah.
Well, that is a great question because I think the bigger question is how often do you see it? And the higher the price range, the less you see it. You see it more in tract areas in the Midwest or Georgia or something. But you don't see it much around here.
Gotcha.
People are too savvy, and they don't cut their own hair. They don't make their own clothes. They hire gardeners.
Yeah.
They hire professionals.
All right, we're going to cut to a break, but before we do, though, if someone was interested to, let's say, tried to do for sale by owner, or just in general, someone wanted to get some advice from you or list property with you, how would they get a hold of you?
Oh, I'm happy to give out any advice. I'm happy to list any property. And it's Patti Cohn, C-O-H-N, with Pacific Union. I'm at 415-722-4842. Patti Cohn.
All right, you ready for this question?
Yes.
A miscellaneous trivia question here. What items of sports equipment are made by Fletcher? I'd never even heard of this company, but apparently they make some sports equipment. You got to tell me what kind of sports equipment. The first caller with the correct answer is going to win that free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Call 888-912-1190 to answer this question. What items of sports equipment are made by a company called Fletcher? Stay with us. The Best of Investing. I'll be right back.
I gotta guess that they make those Nard guards we wore in football.
I want to say jock straps or something. Why did I think that too?
My goodness gracious.
That's what I was thinking too. I
just thought about that little cup we used to all wear when we were kids.
I remember. I had 5 brothers.
You have 5 brothers?
5.
Any sisters?
2.
You come from
Yeah.
a large
Yes.
family.
Wow,
Yes.
how fun.
Crazy people. East Coast,
Nice.
Irish Catholic.
Oh, yeah.
It's easy.
That reminds me, I'm sorry, this is a little crass, but it came from Groucho Marx, You Bet Your Life.
Yeah.
Remember that show? So he has this lady on who is just really kind of sweet, soft, and he asks her about family. He goes, oh yes, I'm married, and how many kids? She says, well, we have 10 kids. You have 10 kids? And she just kind of wryly smiles and says, well, my husband loves me very much. And he goes, I love my cigar, but I take it out every once in a while. And then he was off the air.
Oh, yeah.
You guys know the 50s?
Yeah.
Or the one when, Johnny Carson had the couple of them, like, I'll have to say off the air.
Yeah.
Off the air.
Oh, yeah.
Was it Arnold Palmer's wife goes on the show? He says, what do you do for Arnie to give him luck before a tournament? She says, well, I kiss his balls. He goes, I bet that straightens his butts. Understand that one. Okay. And then Mark will get into your email. Yeah. Okay. All right, here we go. Welcome back to The Best of Investing. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Mark Hahn and Patti Cohn. When we cut to the second commercial break, we asked this very difficult question. What items of sports equipment are made by Fletcher?
Mouthpieces.
No.
Drop stops.
No. Arrows, as in bow and arrow.
Oh.
Never would have guessed that.
No.
That's a tough one. Yeah, I'm gonna keep you guys on your toes here. Okay, Mark, we received an email for you. It says, I have heard you say on previous shows that this obviously is a person who's listened to the show before. Thank you very much, Mr. Listener. I've heard you say on previous shows that your interests are, as a manager, are aligned with your fund. How? How is that? So you better kind of
I know what
explain
he's
that.
asking. So my firm is Pacific Private Money. We're based in right here in the Bay Area, and we offer alternative investment strategies for our investors, and we have a fund we call the Pacific Private Money Fund. It is a mortgage pool fund. It is full of real estate secured notes on properties, mostly here in the Bay Area. And these are mostly short-term loans. Some of them are people who were bought the property to remodel and flip. Others are bridge loans for consumers who need a fast closing loan in this tight inventory market, and they want to be able to buy that property aggressively and quickly, and then refinance out later with a conventional loan. And that mortgage pool fund, the Pacific Private Money Fund, has been paying consistently over the last couple of years, 8%, in fact a little bit over 8%. And now, of course, past performance is not a promise of future results, but our August distribution was at an annualized, through August of this year, we've paid out 8.2% on a distributed basis, and for those who let it ride on a compounded basis, because you can choose to take either monthly distributions or you can let it compound. The compound members are getting just a little bit under 8.5% on that yield, and so that. And I'm sorry, the question again was.
Oh, how are your interests aligned?
So we've talked about when on a mortgage pool fund, when you're analyzing various alternative investment strategies. And when we say alternative investment strategies, we're talking about like buying real estate in your IRA or buying real estate in and of itself compared to stocks and other bonds, CDs, other liquid types of investments. A mortgage pool fund is also considered an alternative investment strategy, and our mortgage pool fund is perfect for IRAs as well as your general savings if you're looking for a way to to boost the yield that you make on your savings accounts. So when you're looking at mortgage pool funds as an investment strategy, what you want to look at is how the management is paid and how the income is earned by the fund. And when we designed our fund, one of the things we decided to do is not only give all of the note rate to the fund as income, which is not that unusual, that's fairly typical, but also the origination fees or points that typically are kept by the broker. We put half of those points into the fund as additional income. Now, why do we do that? Well, we do that because the demand for capital today is mostly short-term. We don't make a lot of long-term loans, and so much of that money revolves in the fund. So the fund, we might make a loan that gets paid back in 6 weeks, 60 days, or 6 months. We don't know when it's going to come back, and we oftentimes hope it's paid back early because we can turn around and lend that money back out again and generate a fresh set of origination fees. Now, if as brokers we kept all of those points and didn't give them to the fund, it would actually be, it wouldn't be to the benefit of the fund shareholders, because the fund shareholders would then benefit more on long-term loans than short-term loans. So it was really designed to accommodate the type of loan demand that we see here in the Bay Area for high interest rate loans, for privately funded loans, which we charge about 10% for. So it's really it was designed so that someone couldn't accuse us of just revolving the money over and over and over again, keeping all the points, because the argument is, well, that benefits the fund. Now, why only half of the points are not?
But let me just kind of point out one thing here. What would happen if, let's say, you charged only 7% and 5 points, and you kept all the points? Then the fund would only earn a 7% yield.
That's another question. So what Edward was suggesting is, if the broker keeps all the points and the fund just gets the interest, the broker, again, being human, and it's not healthy to have that kind of ability in front of you, and that is, like you said, we charge generally 10% and maybe 3 points, but maybe I could say, well, if you want a 9% or an 8% loan, I'll charge you 5 points, and then the fund would not benefit from that. So
Exactly.
So, for more information how you can earn 8% or more on your investment dollars, on your IRA monies, on your self-directed IRAs, your Roth, or even your traditional IRAs, we can accept monies in all forms. For more information, please do either email us, go to our website, and our email contact information is there, or call us, leave a message. Phone number is 415-883-2150. Our office is not open today, but if you call, you can leave a message in the general voicemail, and we'll reach back to you next week at 415-883-2150. Or go to our website. It's pacificmoneyfund.com. That's pacificmoneyfund.com. And I've got an interesting little story.
We got a little time. Go
From one of our investors. In fact, one of our guests recently was super real estate attorney Jeff Lerman, one of the best real estate attorneys in the Bay Area. I've known him for a long time. I've done business with him for many, many years, and recently he became an investor in the Pacific Private Money Fund. So he calls me the other day, and he asks me, Mark, how confident are you that your fund is going to continue to pay out 8% going forward, based on interest rates going up and maybe demand changing, maybe we go through a cycle, maybe prices go down again, et cetera. Fair question. I said, Jeff, and to be perfectly frank and tell you exactly what I believe the market's going to do, it almost doesn't matter whether the market goes up, continues to go up, or flattens out or goes down. There's always a demand for short-term capital. And the rates that we charge, which are around 10%, that hasn't changed in many years. And even if when interest rates go up, that rate should actually go up as well. I don't see it going down from the current rate. There's no indication that there's going to be any incoming resource of private capital that's going to be significantly less expensive than the private capital we offer Pacific Private Money. So I'm very, very confident that we're going to continue in the coming years to be able to pay out 8% or higher. And he said, great, because I just bought a car, and I had to go through the calculations of whether I should pay cash or whether I should finance it. And he said, I had this little app on my phone, and I plugged in the numbers, and I could buy the car with a loan at 2.75%, or I could pay all cash. And the other figure I had to put in is, well, what is my earning
cost?
The earning opportunity. I plugged in 8, and it turns out he said he was $6,000 ahead if he financed it versus paying cash. He said he was inclined to pay cash for it, but when he did the calculation, he says, well, now that you've told me you're pretty confident I'm going to be earning for at least for the next several years, I'm going to go ahead and finance this car. So I thought that was a very interesting story.
That is. Because basically he's effectively paying 2.7% for the money, and then he's going to maybe add to his current investment at 8%, so he gets the spread of 5.3%.
Yeah, and many people refer to that as an arbitrage move, where you take cheaper capital and invest it in something that's going to pay you higher, and that includes people that might take a loan out on their home, and if they can take equity out of their home at 4 or 5% and turn around and make 8, 9, or 10% in a real estate play, there's always risk to the person doing
we
that.
never encourage people to borrow on their house.
Right? No. I would never do that. But oftentimes people do. I know people who have unused lines of credit that they pay interest-only payments to the bank at well under 5%, and they use that to lend privately and make 8 to 10% on it. So it's not unusual.
It's not. Okay, we're going to cut to our third commercial break here. Trivia question, miscellaneous. What was the next country to launch a satellite after the Soviet Union and the U.S.? What was the next country? The first caller with the correct answer wins a free 3-day 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Call 888-912-1190 to answer this question. What was the next country to to launch a satellite after the Soviet Union and the U.S.? All right, stay with us. The Best in Investing will be right back.
That would be Kazakhstan. My sister was on that ship.
All right, we got one more segment. I'll tell you how much time we have in just a bit.
Probably not much.
Oh, I wanted to hear deal of the week.
I know. I tried to.
Well, we
I ran out of time before and Rick had to leave, so I'm.
That's okay.
I don't know. I have to make one up.
I mean,
Well, I have so many of them.
Yeah,
in
yes,
the house.
many of
It's
them.
like just pick one.
Yeah.
What do you got, Patty? What do you want to? What do you want to talk about? Just, anything?
Interesting, nothing, I mean, usually there's like, oh, well, 47, we talked about that last
The
time,
$47
$47 million
yeah.
sale. People are interested in stuff like that and what's happening with multiple
What about
owners.
the $50 million or $49 million price reduction, or was it $20 million? There's a property on the market in California, and this was in the Wall Street Journal this week. I think it was yesterday or today. That there was a price reduction.
20 million, I don't know.
Yeah, I think he went from like 149 million
It's
to.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't have the.
A lot of times in those really big stratospheres, they don't expect to get even close.
Yeah.
But basically, I mean, the median price for the country is basically our overbids and price reductions. You know, if an average price around the country now, I don't know what it is, 250?
10 minutes.
Probably. I remember when it was 150,
Hey, Dave.
Great.
you know.
Right.
I mean, that's our price reduction.
Pure vodka.
Bought a house in San Antonio for
How's it going there, huh?
Good, man. How you doing?
And I put
Every time I come here, I go, God
made
damn, I need to call you and schedule
mostly
lunch.
solitary
It's just-
back in
It's not on the
for
calendar. It
99,000.
never happens.
When?
Fucking let's do it.
I know. Next week will
Month
be a
ago.
good week. This
Wow, good
short
job.
week is
And
just
it's worth
driving me
it,
nuts.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just, you know.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I got to run out of here when we're done.
Yeah,
because
so
I've
we gotta
got
finish
to-
off this, so you got 13 minutes. So,
Okay.
13. Oh,
Oh,
wow, that's a long one. So we better come up with some good
because we had less commercial, I get,
uh,
we're on Gil Gross, but if we take a break from Gil Gross, they won't let us use a Gil Gross commercial. So,
Oh.
and he usually does a nice long one for us.
Oh, I see.
So let's see what else it's got. So we'll go into. I gotta think of a deal of the week, and then let's just before we start, I just want to make sure what we're talking about. I don't want to stutter and stammer. Let's come up with some goodies. I wonder. I'd love to use Jeremy's again. Jeremy's the deal where he.
Okay.
We got.
Yeah, we had to do that because it was it buying one with the layout? Or no.
So he bought a gorgeous home in Petaluma.
Yeah.
And it was like $900,000. We gave him 88% financing. You want
Got
to get the highest financing possible because he was going to refi conventionally back out on a rate term, and that's the best deal. You know, it's hard to get a higher loan amount. So if we only gave him 70, he didn't want to leave that much money in there because he's making good money and he wants to put his money to work elsewhere. He didn't want to have it tied up in the house.
Okay.
So he brought in a rental property in Vallejo that had equity, and then we were able to go from the normal 70% purchase price to an 88% loan to purchase
Yeah,
price.
cross
How it makes
collateralized.
sense.
A lot of
Okay.
people don't do that.
All right, ready?
Okay.
Here we go. Well, welcome back to the Best of Investing. Edward Brown here, along with Mark Hunt and Patti Cohen. When we got to the last commercial break, we asked this trivia question: what was the next country to launch a satellite after the Soviet Union and the U.S.?
China.
No.
India.
No. Come on, you only got about 1,000 more countries to go.
Kazakhstan.
France.
France.
Yeah,
That's
they,
shocking.
They launched their own satellite. It was called Le Satellite. Okay. All right. So, Mark, I want to hear a deal of the week. Give us something exciting.
So we talked about in the last segment, during the last segment at Pacific Private Money, that we offer alternative investment strategies for people who are interested in boosting the yield they earn on their savings and IRA accounts. We've got a mortgage pool fund that has been paying consistently a couple of ticks over 8% on an annualized basis. We also do individual trust deeds with certain high net worth individuals who like to fund $1 million loans and up. And again, for more information, please do give us a call. I'll give my contact information out again at the end of the segment. But we also, how do we generate those yields? How on earth can we generate yields of 8% with safety and security features that we always talk about in our promotional materials? Well, the way we do it is we make short-term real estate loans. And we make short-term real estate loans with conservative loan-to-values. We are not out there like the banks making 80% loans, nor are we like FHA making 97% acquisition loans.
102.
Oh, is that right?
102%.
We're back to we're back. We're many programs like that are still available, contrary to popular belief. But no, our niche is fast, efficient, reliable financing, but the rub is we normally require at least 30% down on the acquisition. So we do a lot of bridge loans for people who want to acquire property. Maybe they're living in their home currently, they don't want to sell it before they move into their next home, or they don't want to make an offer on a property that's contingent upon the sale of their existing home, because again, let's face it, inventory is tight. The seller is not likely to take to agree to those contingencies in this hot market that we're in. In fact, it's been that way for quite some time. So what do? What's a person to do? Well, you basically decide to yourself that you're going to bear the additional costs of doing a private money loan or a hard money loan, and you get the house you want, but you have to pay some additional fees for it. So that's a fairly common way that we make loans. Now, that's not to say that there isn't situations where we can also provide 100% financing. Let me explain a deal that we did recently. It wasn't quite 100% financing. It was actually 88% of the acquisition price was the loan we provided for this individual. So this person is someone that we've actually done a lot of business with. He's a high-performing mortgage broker here in the Bay Area, and even though he's making gobs and gobs of money, because he's good, not because it's easy to make money in mortgage loan origination, he's just really, really good. He's one of the top mortgage brokers in the Bay Area. But he's making a lot of money, but the problem is he had an investment property go to foreclosure within the last 3 years, and so he could not close today with the type of loan that he would want to get. He wants to get a low interest rate 30-year loan. So he comes to me and he says, I could put 30% down, Mark, but I don't want to. I want to have the highest loan to value that I can, so that when I qualify in the coming months, my 3-year time is up, then I now I qualify for all these great loans. I want to be able to put the biggest loan I can on there, because he likes to make money with this money elsewhere. He doesn't want to have it tied up in his home. So turns out he had a rental property, and we looked at that rental property, and although there was a first mortgage on that rental property, the value of that rental property was such that there was a lot of equity in that property. So we were able to combine the property to be purchased with the property that he already owned, the rental property, and do what's called a cross-collateralized loan. So we made one loan, but we recorded a deed of trust on 2 properties. And now all of a sudden we go, even though the amount of the loan was equal to 88% of the property that he was buying, a very beautiful property recently built here in the Bay Area, even though it was 88% of that, when you combine the equity with the rental property, the combined loan to value, what we refer to in the industry as the CLTV, combined loan to value, now went all the way down below 65%. So now we have a very well secured loan to somebody who is a high earner with a high FICO, who's 6 months away from going past the 3-year mark on a foreclosure. So now all of a sudden he's golden to the banking industry at large.
Hey, were you a second then on the, not the subject property, but the cross?
So it was a first on the subject property that he was buying to move into, and a second on the cross property, yes. So there are, and we will do seconds sometimes by themselves. Now this particular situation I'm telling you about is a situation where we were able to provide a higher amount of financing on an acquisition because he had other property that he could throw into the mix that we could collateralize.
And the first wasn't very large.
The first wasn't very large. Now, there are situations where people own property in the Bay Area and they've got a small first, or maybe the first isn't all that small, but it has an incredibly low interest rate. And they don't want to pay it off, but they've got a lot of equity in their home. And again, we'll loan up to generally 70% of the market value. So what's a person to do that owns a home that's easily would sell in a week for $1 million, and he's got a $200,000 mortgage on there at 3.25%.
You don't want to pay it off, really.
Right, and so and there are often situations where they want to borrow a couple $100,000. Now that could still be below 50% loan to value when you combine the first and the second. But what's interesting is there's just most banks don't want to do seconds, and HELOCs right now they're so much harder to qualify for now today, and so
You solve the problem for them because there's no way you could get a bank loan for that percentage of loan to value. But when you throw in the second property, and banks don't usually do cross collateral,
No,
so
right.
it's a great solution.
well, and that's what's great about working with a legitimate, reputable private money loan broker in the Bay Area. You want to first of all, if you're considering using non-traditional financing, which is certainly what private money financing is. It's basically a plan B when your plan A isn't available. Plan A is always bank or conventional financing. Nobody in their right mind would come to us when they qualify for bank financing, unless speed's the issue, right? Or unless there's an issue that they can't get around. Maybe
Or sometimes you just get frustrated with the banks.
Well,
Exactly.
but if you can get bank financing on a transaction, you should. But when speed is an issue, or there's a glitch in your credit, or there's other things that then private money is available. Yes, it's expensive. That's the downside. But the upside is it's particularly at Pacific Private Money. Our three value adds that our clients really appreciate is that we're very fast, we're very friendly. We make it just the easiest process you could ever imagine, and when it comes to financing, and we're reliable. Reliability being key, because I'll tell you, there are I get email blasts all the time. I'm on everybody's list for other companies outside of California. A lot of them in Southern California that are advertising up here with their teaser rate hard money at 8%, a couple of points, and I had more people bite on those and then find out later that it's either a bait and switch tactic, or they really can't close quickly. They're not.
They don't have the money. They just are trying to feed into it where they don't worry, we'll get the money.
Yeah, or you have to have 800 credit, or 40% down or something.
Yeah.
Right. So for more information on if anything about the private money industry sounds interesting to you, and you want more information, whether you're a potential borrower and you want to know how you can get a fast, friendly, reliable loan to close on a real estate transaction, or I hope you are, like everybody, a saver out there, and you're looking at ways to maybe diversify your portfolio. Maybe you want to add some trust deeds or a mortgage pool fund investment in there, and you want more information about how it works and what are the risk factors and all kinds of detailed information. We are a very soft sell company. We are all about attraction rather than strong promotion. So when you call us, email us for information, we will not hound you. We promise you that. We'll just send you some PDF information that you can study at your leisure, and if you're further interested, call us back. We can talk. You can set up an appointment. But go to our website, pacificmoneyfund.com, or give us a call, 415-883-2150. That's 415-883-2150. We're located in Marin County.
And Patty, we have just another couple of minutes here. Want to bring up something?
Well, basically, what's going on in real estate now, next year? Should I sell now? I've got a lot of clients that are convinced that the market's going down, and they're trying to sell now.
Oh.
Honestly, so many of them. I'm not buying that. But at the same time, I think we're headed for just a more moderate market, which is what we should be.
And then when they sell, they get to buy something.
They get to buy something, or really, there's a lot of people moving on. There's a lot of baby boomers, and it's so many different situations. But yeah, they got to buy something. So in that case, it doesn't really matter what the market does. But I'm happy to talk to anybody. Whether I work primarily out of Marin County, and Patti Cohen with Pacific Union's 415-722-4842. I'm happy to talk to anybody in the Bay Area. I can help them with whatever they're trying to puzzle out with real estate, and it's my honor.
You're a very good resource for that, because even if people are going, well, I live in Lafayette, or I live in, at least you're very friendly, and you'll answer questions.
Absolutely.
Right. Don't be afraid to call. That's the thing. Any one of us here, whether it's Edward Brown for questions about insurance or private money or real estate,
or how to live your life.
Or how to
I'm very good at that.
That's
What
right.
should
You're
I
such
do?
a great coach. Or Patti Cohen.
Relationship issues.
Yes, exactly.
And Patti Cohen's a great resource for anything real estate when you got questions about your home. And that's the thing that I think a lot of people don't believe. There are so many people are afraid to pick up the phone and call because they think we're going to try to sell them.
Yeah, we're gonna try to sell.
And we're not.
Force me to get a listing on
I can't
something.
tell you
Yeah.
how many hours a day I spend on the phone where I'm not earning anything. I'm not selling anything. I'm just talking and sharing information. And all three of us are personalities like that, where we're happy to talk to people.
Well, because what comes around goes around.
Yeah.
You know, and when you're really friendly and just give out, and you're very honest about things. People, they remember that.
Yeah.
So it maybe that one person who you helped isn't going to be a client, but they'll refer you to somebody else. That's
Yeah.
what I always say.
And it's
Absolutely.
karma. You do everything over in A box, and you'll get something back in B box and has nothing to do with A. One thing I can really help people with is finding an agent in their neighborhood.
There you go.
Awesome.
Okay, appreciate that. Okay, here's our thought for the day. Pound for pound, an unborn child is stronger than an ox. I'm not sure how they figured that out, but that's interesting.
Wow.
And Napoleon, they have little weights in the womb there. Okay, and Napoleon
How about the
Bonaparte.
weight womb?
Yeah, wait, there you go, in the womb. And Napoleon Bonaparte actually drew up his battle plans inside of a sandbox. I guess it was easier
Oh,
to
cool.
make sure the enemy couldn't find it. You just erase it in the sandbox. All right, tune in next week to The Best of Investing. We're going to be giving away more free vacations for answering trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm Edward Brown. We're wishing you the best of investing. So long.
Woohoo!
Weight
Right on
womb.
the money, man. Right on the money. Right on the money.
Wow.
Weight womb.
Go to weight room. That's it.
Wait.